Yeah, I'm ready, baby.
Fate decided.
Let's get this party started.
Craving something scary.
Hello, Sydney. It's an honor.
Killjoy Jake.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother!
Watch Zone.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
The collective has spoken.
Yo, what's up, Lethal Collective? Friday. We're ready to rock.
Yes.
What's going on, guys?
Ready to rock. Let's go. We're here.
Rock!
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
And we're starting off right. Jennifer
Yes.
Armstrong coming in hot with $20. Happy Friday, Collective.
Wow.
Thank you,
Jennifer.
Right off the bat.
Wow,
Jennifer
that's
is
incredible.
all right.
Off the bat.
Amazing,
Wow.
Jennifer. You are inspiring us, Jennifer. You are literally a virtual gas can who is
Yes.
just pouring all over this channel. Thank you so much. It means it
Wow.
seriously. It really is inspiring to us,
I just
guys.
had
Come
this
on.
thing going on, man. What's
What an analogy. God damn. What's up,
Wow.
Jennifer? Thank
Wow.
you.
Hey.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Jennifer. Wow.
Many of you may have or may not have noticed, but we are right there to 1,000 subs. So
901.
Yeah. Maybe if we can start being on time for our streams, we'll get to 1,000. I'm fucking with you guys.
in our
Dang.
defense,
Yeah,
yes,
you
I know. Damn.
in our defense, we were talking backstage about something that may help us get to 1,000 subs. Besides you guys, I think we could clue them in on this, just so that way they're aware. You know, so that
Fate,
way
we
they-
can't start talking about Jupiter brains, man. No one's gonna want to
Of
watch
course
this.
we can. Of course we can.
That was a very high-rated episode.
Oh,
If
gosh.
people love that, I'm telling
I'm
you.
just
I'm telling
saying.
you.
I'm just being
I'll
real.
shameless plug real quick before the collective. So starting Monday,
Lord.
I'm
Oh,
going to
here
have
we
a
go.
new live stream with my buddy Mark, and we're going to be talking about the first episode is going to be Jupiter Brain. We're going to dive into Jupiter Brain. He is just like me, a science nerd. We think alike. You guys are going to love
That's
it. We're going to be
scary.
screaming at each other. We're going to be crying. It's going to just be an emotional mess, spitting in each other's mouths, as Jake likes to say. All of
Spitting
that
in each
stuff. It's
other's
gonna be-
mouths.
It's going to be great, virtually. But
Wow.
But to complete my rant, so starting this Monday,
Bad.
besides the
That's too
Jupiter
bad.
Brain thing, which I need you to be there or be rectangle. But other than that,
What the hell is going on?
I'm going on a rant. The four of us are gonna start. We're gonna start trying to really promote the Lethal Collective stream and try to get to 1,000 subs. So before the Lethal Collective stream, an hour before, the four of us are going to start jumping on each other's channels. We're going to alternate Mondays and Fridays. So you'll get to have a stream on our channel. We're going to start with Jake. Then it's going to go to Night. Me and Craven got to figure out which day works the best for us the following week. But every Monday and Friday for at least the next 2 weeks, you're going to get a stream on one of our channels. And then we're going to, promote the Lethal Collective. And then we're all going to run over to the Lethal Collective, this channel, as soon as that stream ends, to kind of get promotion, get people talking, get people excited, and then hopefully they all follow us over here.
Thank you,
and we can grow
Jordy.
this channel. So that's our plan.
Yes.
We need you all to support us, be in each other, be in our streams, all that stuff. So look out for those streams starting this Monday at 2 p.m. Or well, no, it'd be 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, 3:30 p.m. Central time, and then 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So
Yes.
be there or be rectangle. Okay.
That's
Oh,
right.
God.
Wow.
God.
You will actually morph into a rectangle. It's
rectangle.
a super
Literally.
painful process. Breaks every bone in your body.
Oh.
It's
You're not
terrible.
gonna like it.
No.
Oh, man.
It's the
All right,
Lethal
I'm done.
Collective
You guys have a
double
good
feature.
Yes.
feature back to back.
Double feature 2 weeks. How about
2
that?
weeks, man. That's awesome.
But
Yeah.
to jump into a starting topic, Melissa Barrera, did you guys hear about it? Melissa Barrera gave the spilled the beans on
Yep.
on the gap in between Scream 5 and Scream 6. So we now know how much time and night is a meanie, but beyond that,
I'm sick, man. What do you want from me?
Let him put up his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
So
All right,
how
I'm sorry,
much
go
time
ahead.
is it though? I haven't had time to look.
oh, you
into
haven't
this.
had time to hear it? So
No, I
Melissa
haven't.
Burr was on an interview with Deadline, and they asked her, they were like, is there going to be a long gap, this, that, and the other? And she said it's basically the time in between films. So
Yep.
is going to be the time in real world. So basically it'll be within about a year or so after Scream 5. So it is kind of like what we talked about. You know, we on one of our first Lethal Collector streams, when they made the announcement, you know, we were talking about like it should be within like 8 months to a year after, not like several years later. And that looks like what they did. So they must have been watching the Lethal Collective and and took that to heart.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
entirely possible. So a 1 year time gap instead of 2 years,
Yes.
as the previous sequel to Scream. So
What do you guys think about that though?
So I guess my real question is why was it 2 years? Because like for the last one, like is there a reason? Like I don't know. I've never because it's like the next year, right? They like go to college and all that and shit.
So
Well,
I've never-
there wasn't,
Shit.
so there wasn't like a direct explanation.
no,
But,
it never
like,
was.
But through dialogue, you can kind of come to the conclusion that everyone was trying to figure out what's next. Like so, like
Okay.
after the events of Scream with Billy and everything, like you hear like Randy says, like I hadn't seen Sid since the events, you know, stuff like that. So like Sydney must have been dealing with everything that was going on. I'd imagine, you know, after, you know, you got to think it was a year earlier her mom died, you know, was murdered, and then it turns out her boyfriend is the killer, and so you have all of those become like direct points, and then so you'd imagine she probably just got away for a year, you know, went with her dad somewhere,
Okay. That makes
escaped,
sense.
and then was like, okay, I need to get my life back together. Let me go to college, you know,
'Cause
and then Randy followed.
Right. Because I remember like when we were talking, that was like a big conversation point going into Scream 5. Like, do you remember we talked so much about like, oh, well, there's this like 2 year gap between Screams 1 and 2. All this shit could have happened. You know, we were speculating somebody was somebody's daughter. We know what it is now, but like we didn't know Sam was Billy's daughter at the time. I remember speculating like, oh, maybe Sydney had a secret daughter or something, you know? So that's fascinating. But there is, in fact, a year, maybe less, between Scream 5 and 6, essentially, then. So that's kind of confirmed from Melissa, right? Just to clarify
Yeah,
that.
1 year. Yeah, basically
Okay.
1 year.
I haven't read
Yeah.
it. Like, I've had no time today.
She didn't say like it's exactly, you know, 1 year and 1 month or anything. She just said basically the time in between films is the time that is the actual movie time. So you got to figure movie came out this January. Fast forward to you know, March next year, so it's about a year and some change. So around a year is what it was.
Gotcha. Okay.
So-
Cool.
But here's the reason I like it a year. I do like some time because the advantage to me is that it allows other things to have gone on during the gap. So if it's so close, like the night after or a month later, you can't have like a secret love child. Think about it, right? In a year, all you need is 9 months. You could have a baby out there we don't even know about. So there's things that can go down in a year. I like that. So I like the gap because it just allows backstory opportunity if they want to write things into the story during that gap. So I think it's cool. I'm cool with the 1 year. I'm glad it wasn't too quick.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not like immediately after the events
Right.
of Scream 5 because that just wouldn't make sense. You know, like everybody
No, it
was
wouldn't.
injured to some degree. You know, that would just, I feel like that wouldn't work.
Well, there's an elephant in the room.
Ooh. Wow.
Nice.
Like a Vincent Price moment.
Wow. That's awesome.
I bought an elephant outside.
I hear it.
Dude, no way.
No,
Throw
look,
that thing some
listen, here.
peanuts or something. It's getting loud.
Damn.
What if I really did have an
Dude, if like a trunk came in right now, I'd lose my mind. I'd be terrified. Like, I don't know. Ah.
What was that? What was that sound? What was that? Wow.
I just want to say there's always a trunk on the screen.
That's my owl noise, so not my elephant one. So
I
sorry.
swear, Jake, if I'd have gone to a zoo as a kid, a little school tour, and they took us to the elephants, and I think I would have ran and never ever gone near an elephant the rest of my life. That's awesome.
I had a monkey come up to me and do that at the zoo. So I'm terrified of zoos. I don't go. Yeah.
Dude, I want a monkey so bad.
No, totally.
Like, I really do. Like I want a
crazy,
monkey
man.
so bad. I want to buy like a legit. Like,
Just have it run around your house.
I like how you said a legit.
Yes.
Like one could be fake.
Like I don't want no
Legit.
fake monkeys. Give me the real.
I
You're like, look, man,
That,
I want
and I
the
want a panther.
homegrown ones.
Yeah.
Organic monkeys, please.
Organic,
Oh, I'm telling you, I've always wanted a legit
gluten-free monkey.
and a
With
legit
oat milk.
panther. I want a panther just roam in my backyard.
Why? Why?
Oh.
Why?
Wow.
With the panther. That's why. Imagine somebody.
What do you say? Nobody what?
Somebody try to break into your house and you just say, like you'd be like, oh, what the fuck? You just can't even see it. You're like, where is it? And then the lights come on in the backyard and you just see this like giant cat just ready to eat you. That'd be incredible. I would love that. And then I'd have it on video camera.
Wow.
And I'd show all you guys, look, my cat ate another person.
Jeez.
Okay, Carol Baskin, sit down. God damn.
Right.
Killed her husband. Whacked him.
Dang.
Dude,
We already
that
had one
trend
show,
is
the
my
Tiger
favorite
King,
thing.
whatever thing was.
Yeah.
Tiger King is still
Dang.
an all-time classic.
Oh, man.
Tiger
Carol
King
fucking
3,
Baskin.
starring Fate Decided.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
The
Dude,
Panther
that's what I
King.
should dress as. I should dress as Tiger King.
That's what
That's
you
my
should dress
costume.
as.
That's my costume this year.
I swear, if you dress up in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle suit, it would be amazing. Take a picture.
It would.
Knight would just put that picture up instead of that one.
Yeah, I would.
Knight would lose his mind. That would be
He
so
would.
funny. Oh my
I
god.
would.
And Zoe, the panther, would not bite my fingers off because I would train it to not do that.
Okay.
Anybody ever seen Siegfried and Roy? Their whole incident.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that's my only fear about. It's my only fear about having one of those big cats.
Yeah, they swore like they're innocent, like these are tame. There's no way they'll ever hurt us. They'd stick their whole half of their bodies inside the mouth of these things. And one day, a tiger was a tiger. It's a tiger. It's what tigers do.
Eventually, it just
Yeah.
Eventually,
Wow.
Sad.
yeah. But
Oh,
Nice way to bring the stream down. Talking about someone dying. Thanks a
I
lot.
know, man.
hey, we talking.
Damn.
Now we're
Wait,
locked in
so,
the corner.
he's talking about the monkey, not the cat. Nah, the monkey won't do that. I'm gonna get a little like monkey. I don't want like a giant ape or something. Like I want
You don't want, like, a gorilla?
Yeah, it's just like what if I came on one of these streams and you just saw this big ass gorilla just holding me?
It just gives you a hug, like big
I
arms.
don't know what I would do, man.
Like, I'm just,
I'd be like, dude.
you're like, is that Fate's chair? Holy shit, it's a gorilla! And I'm just like,
Oh my gosh.
I have one of those like bear masks that looks like real, like from a distance.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those at like Spirit Halloween?
Yeah.
Nice.
jackass.
So I have one of those.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just coming on a stream, just no explanation, just talking like that, like nothing's wrong.
Yeah,
Just
You
but,
should-
but, but
you
I'm a
should
bear,
say-
you know.
You should save that for one day when we ever hang out. Like if I ever go, like when I go to Ohio to go like see you and my friend and stuff, like you should save that and then we'll reenact the moment that I just talked about of me sitting on your lap and you'll just be in an ape suit, just holding me.
Yeah, just
Wow.
only some will get it. Only a few
Yeah.
people will get it, but
Well, plus I can sit on your lap and talk about the first thing that pops up, so it'll be perfect.
Oh, careful. Careful now.
I see what you just did there. God damn.
Carrie, you are so correct. I just want to say, Frailty is an amazing
Frailty?
movie. You're all right.
Ooh.
that's a
Great
good one.
movie.
Frailty. I've never seen
Yes.
that one.
Yes. And we had a whole bunch of good ones that were passed around. So good for you, Carrie. I just want to say that.
Ooh, Bill Paxton directing. Okay.
Yes, directorial debut. Bill Paxton, obviously is just amazing, anyways. But he did a hell of a job with this movie. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out, man. Seriously, don't read anything about it. Don't look up anything about it. Just watch it. Seriously.
Matthew
Nice,
McConaughey.
okay.
That's right.
All right.
Powers
all right,
Booth.
all right.
You know, it's got a lot of great actors in it.
Nice. I like
Yeah,
that.
it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yes.
Yep. I'm just
Very
saying.
true. Very true. But to transition back to Scream a little bit, the other thing
I
is
thought you were
too-
about to say back to transition to the gorilla.
Yeah, like, let's
back
get
to the
back on
gorilla.
track with the monkeys.
Come on, let's get back. Come on, guys. We're derailing a little bit here. No, no. To get,
We never
to
do
get back
that.
on, like, never.
Never.
We are
No.
constant professionals.
That's
But
right.
when it comes to Scream, so have you guys seen all like the Twitter, like with CC Cooper and stuff? Like, oh yes, Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles.
Dang.
It's the perfect combination.
I have not though. What with CC Cooper and all
What
that?
is it?
on-
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like their Scream's Twitter is active again. And so
Yeah.
Paramount posted what's your favorite scary movie? And then Scream responded,
Oh.
I'll ask
Yeah.
the questions around here. And then
Yeah.
CC Cooper under that said then Paramount said, lock doors, lock windows, lock whatever. And then CC Cooper responded with that won't save you, it'll just throw you through a door or something, or throw you through the window or something like that. And which I thought was interesting. Why CC Cooper out of all characters? Now, could it be promotion for, Scream 2 coming to theaters? Could it be that like a clue in general that maybe there's a character
Right.
in relation to CC? Could it be just like further confirmation that this is going to be Scream 2 2.0? But also, we got more stuff today. And then one of them was Sidney Prescott tweeting out, and then one was CC Cooper again. And of course, people think like, oh, that means Sydney might be coming back, not failing to realize that like she's still a character in the Scream world, and she is still the most important, prominent character. So I don't think
Right.
that a connection there. But what do you guys think? You think obviously it's the first run of marketing here we're getting, which is great. And but yeah, what do you guys think in general about like the whole Twitter account being active? CC Cooper, do you think there's a connection there? And what do you think about the whole Sydney? Craven, you want to start? I'll go in a circle.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to say, in my opinion, right now. I think obviously they're starting to get ready, to get the train back on the track, and the oil change. They're changing out the fluids for the marketing machine. It's going to get ready to go. So I think they're starting off here. I mean, CC Cooper is interesting. Why? Of all the history of the characters, it could be anybody, but it's CC. So, and it's a dead character. So you can't even say like, you can't do this person because they're dead, because they did that. So it's an interesting choice. And I'm sure they want us talking about it right now. And we are, because it's, like trying to figure out if there's any meaning to it. I haven't seen the Sydney Scott tweet thing. I don't know what she said. I haven't seen it, but it's hard to not associate. I mean, when you think of C. Cooper, automatically it's Scream 2. And they are doing this theatrical release in a couple of weeks. So it could be, I think it's probably more likely tied to that if I had to pick, because we know she's not in the movie, obviously in 6. So I think they're probably trying to generate publicity, already starting with the Fathom event coming up. That's my guess. And then I just hope we get a poster. I know I'm reaching here, but I hope we get a poster by the end of October, of just a poster. That's all. Nothing else. Not anything else. Just a tease. But that's what I think right now. And now, honestly, I have no on the Sydney part. I can't comment on that because I have to read it. But it's interesting that they're having her involved.
So what Paramount Paramount one of the things, so Paramount says in response, calling Sidney Prescott your toast now. And then CC
That's
Cooper
so weird to me.
CC Cooper
Wow.
responds, definitely don't call campus security.
Oh, okay.
Don't
That's
call
funny.
campus
Yeah.
security. And then without going through every single tweet, but they're just it just is
Oh.
just these references to Cece, Sydney, and then
College.
just Ghostface in general.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, they're getting us ready to go to college. We're going back to school. No, not with Rodney Dangerfield, but with, which was a great movie, but with Tara and Sam, or Tara at least. Yeah. Jake?
I think the Sidney Prescott thing was a little weird. I mean, like, what was the last thing? What was the last big thing we were talking about with the studio? Specifically, they're like, they don't want Sidney for the new movie, and they're just gonna casually reference her on Twitter, which is kind of just, I don't know, just comes off a little strange to me, I think. But yeah, overall, I do think that this is marketing. But what this does symbolize is the start of like the big marketing crazy shenanigans they're about to get into, because I mean they're following the exact same format they did last year with Scream 5. So my guess is here maybe in a couple of days, next week, something like that, we probably get the announcement of some kind of crazy marketing stunt that they're going to do before the trailer comes out, would be my guess. Like just like the Airbnb at Stu's house with David Arquette, you know, something like that. They're going to do some kind of big something, maybe in like late October or early November, and then we get a trailer in December. That's kind of my guess as of right now. And it's just kind of exciting because it's like, hey, this is all ramping up. It's going to be nonstop up until March, pretty much, I guess. So exciting shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's exciting, and I mean, it's just showing that it's the beginning of this whole snowball, you know. And you know, why Cece? I mean, it's probably no particular reason. I don't think there's going to be necessarily a connection in the movie. I don't really want to see a connection. I mean, sometimes you just gotta.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Night
lost
is frozen.
Oh,
Well, that's too bad.
That's too bad.
That's too bad.
and he's back.
But no, no. But I'm excited to see what they do for promotion this time around. And as far as the whole Sydney thing, yeah, it is kind of like Jake was saying. It is kind of weird because of all the stuff that's been going down. But at the same time, look what we're doing right now. We're questioning it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they don't. I mean, I don't really think they care too much about, you know, the way they look necessarily. They care about the money. They care about the hype. They care about the fans being excited for the movie. So by even just mentioning Sydney, it's no sweat off of their backs. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of look at it.
Well, my thing is that she's like, the thing is, she's still a character and the most prominent
True.
character in the franchise. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
it would make more sense for it make less sense if they just never mentioned her. Like I even think we're gonna get mentions and references to her in the movie.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
definitely.
I just because I mean she's still like important. Like if you just never like pretend like she never existed, like you know, it's a little weird. So that's why I don't put too much into the Sydney thing. I think it's just they're marketing and promoting the movie, trying to get people excited, trying to get people talking, trying to, you know, do this, that, and the other. And
Yeah.
I think that Sydney, just the reference to Sydney, I don't think it's too much. The CC thing, I think is interesting. I don't think there's a direct tie-in. I think it's probably more likely that it's just promotion for the release of Scream 2 in theaters, would be my guess. But
Well, okay. Well,
interesting.
one more thing to go off of there is with the first Scream, we obviously had voice cameos from just about everyone from that original movie. Like Drew Barrymore had that voice cameo. She was like the announcer during that
Yeah.
one panning shot or whatever, the
Yeah, the
principal
school-
or
she was
whatever
the
the fuck.
principal.
Yeah. So I mean, like that. You know, Sarah Michelle Gellar maybe has like a cameo or something. Maybe like a voice cameo. I doubt like Cece Cooper's not coming back to life. She's not Stu Macher, you know. But
So I actually asked this question. I actually asked this question in the video that I was talking about it. Would you guys be against Sarah Michelle Gellar coming back in like a little cameo role?
Yes.
you'd be against that?
You would?
She's already a character in this universe. You can't. She's dead. You can't. No, I just don't like this. See, I think that's
I
when
mean,
you
you've
start
had
going.
Stu. You've had Stu and as like you know background characters and stuff.
Yeah,
but
well,
he
okay.
wasn't
Now,
up
all right.
front, though.
No, that's a different thing. If you're talking about having her in like this 2-second scene, highly disguised with glasses and hair all spiked up, and okay, I'm fine with that.
Like what
But
if she was in like the you know Scream 2 the reporter scene with what is it? Why am I blanking on her name?
Gail
girl from
Weathers.
The Exorcist.
Oh,
Linda Blair?
Linda Blair. Yeah, like when they have the, when she's like, hey, what do you think about, like, what if it was something like brief like that, like a quick scene like that?
Because Matthew Lillard did that too. Don't forget in Scream 2, he's in the background of that one party scene.
Yeah, he's in the party
Well, that's
scene
what I was
for
just
like
talking
a
about.
good amount of time though.
Yeah, but you don't. But it's out of focus. The focus. If you look at the screen, I've got the screenshot. He's blurred. He's not like where like Linda Blair was straight on clear. Like everyone knows
you knew
that's
it was
Linda
Linda
Blair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like ambiguity. The Stu thing, he's blurred. You can't even really tell who it is. So I draw the line at that. Like this is just my personal preference. I say if you're gonna put him in clear focus, I don't want to see that. Because I just don't. I think you're meddling. Then you're almost disrespecting not the mythology, but the lore, the legacy, canon, however you want to call it, of the past. That's where I have a problem with it. Just me,
Jake.
Jakey.
I know. Well, God, the pressure is on.
After
Jeez,
that,
no,
the pressure is on.
I know.
Don't fold.
Performance anxiety.
I kind of like, to me, it's not that big of a deal. If she's, as long as she's playing a different character. If they decide to like throw in like, oh, Cece Cooper's alive now, I would be like, okay, what the fuck?
Cooper.
Yeah. Oh, that would be
She's
Twin
she's the
sister.
mastermind at the end of the
Didn't see
movie.
that coming, did you?
like. There's so many other cool things this franchise could touch on. No, don't get me started. Don't get me. God damn. No, I'm just kidding. But. I wouldn't mind Debbie. Don't say her name. Oh no, I'm just kidding.
Fighting words.
Fighting words. I wouldn't mind a cameo, but if they bring her back, I'll be like, okay, what the fuck, But it'll probably be like what they did with Scream 5, is my guess, like a voice cameo or like a background thing. I mean, they have the Jill's flowers and all this shit. There's so many references to past characters already. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like little voice cameos or just a little something. It's not going to take up a bunch of screen time. It may be a blink if you miss it kind of thing too, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Night.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if she does something in the background, and not right in front of the camera like Linda Blair, I'd be okay with it. But I don't know. I kind of agree, like how Steven was saying. You got to kind of respect the canon, and it would just be too weird. Even if she's a different character, it would just kind of be too weird because for so many people, myself included, you associate her with that character. You associate her as Cece. So the best that I could hope for, I would love some involvement, but it would have to be a voiceover type of thing, or if she's in the background and you can, if you could just barely tell it's her, I'm okay with that. But if she's front and center, no, we don't need that.
See, here's my thing though, is that like one, I don't know how many people would really note it, like actually connect the two. Like Die Hard,
it would be a blink or you miss it thing for sure.
Like us, like we would notice it. Like I think Die Hard Scream fans, they would notice it, but I think general people probably either wouldn't notice or they wouldn't care. They'd just be like, "Oh, it's Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like that's awesome. That was cool." Especially depending on what the cameo is. I think that's a big thing too. But I don't know. I think it depends on what it would be. Like I wouldn't be against it. Like I think it'd just be kind of funny to kind of have, like, obviously not playing Cece, but if she's playing, you see in the credits and it's like the news lady and she's like outside in the rain, like, reporting from you live, and there's like, they're like, when it rains, it pours or something like that. It's just like a quick, like, 30-second scene or something like that. I don't think anybody would really be that upset. I think it just because she wasn't like a huge prominent character. You know what I mean? Like if it was like Dewey, like David Arquette was playing a role and he was like, like the football coach or something of the university, like people would be like, all right, that's just a slap in the face, but like, I just think Cece, she's not like that. I guess I don't want to say insignificant, but like she doesn't have like the prominence in this and Scream as she would something else, as like, if they did I Know What You Did Last Summer part 3 or now like part 4 and she was she came back as like a cameo character, people would be like, what, like she, like that's stupid, right. But but Scream, she was kind of like a she had like what 2-3 scenes in the movie and they weren't very long, so
Sorry, I'm rapping in my head.
Me, Carrie, and Craven are all just having a conversation in the chat. Sorry.
It's
Oh,
interesting.
shit, but-
It's interesting.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but you know.
I'm always down for cameos. It's fun as long as it doesn't like take up, like part of the story or something just to bring back a character. I'm okay with it. It's like it's just goofy to me. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a little thing here and there. But I'm much more excited just to see like what the fucking story is, how everything unfolds. There's so many things that I feel like are just still up in the air. Like especially with Chad. Like is he able to play football after all those injuries that he sustained?
Right?
Something
I
I've been
think
thinking
his
about.
scholarship went down.
He was jacked up, man.
Yeah. I don't think so, man. I don't know, but
He's
it's
like,
Hollywood.
He's like,
So,
I
what do
can
you
walk
think?
it off.
I think what
Yeah.
I think it would make the character better, if they play on that as far as him being, not as physically capable,
I think that would be so interesting. I
do
completely agree. Yeah.
Like, I want to see the like, I think it would be great if like Chad, because Mason, he's a good looking guy, stuff like that, right? He was a little womanizer in the last one. Like, imagine like he's at the university. You got all these women basically throwing themselves at him, because it's college and that's just how it goes. And like he's just not interested because he has like the survivor remorse, the guilt of like, I tried to. Rather than him being like the party boy, like having fun, sleeping around, like I'd rather see him be like, having struggles, like, like he can't get close to girls,
Right.
stuff like that, because like he looks at it as
That would
like,
be cool.
If I would have trusted my girlfriend, like she'd probably still be alive, but instead she just,
Right.
like that kind of thing. Like I would rather than play that than like he's just like bounced back, everything's fine. He's drowning his
Yes,
sorrows in a
I agree.
bottle.
That would be so cool because it would be different, it'd be fresh, and it would give Mason some really good weight to the character, to really make him stand out even more. You know what I'm saying? And I hope they do stuff like that, man. I really do, because again, these are characters. Now that the OG3 is down to one, these characters
Dang.
really need to stand out, and probably more than anything else, we need to connect to them. We need to start to really have some emotional ties to them, especially, if we're setting up for 7, we got to be invested in these characters for 7. You know what I mean? So, with Mason and these other characters, probably outside of Jenna, we've really got to see them. We got to see them work. We got to see their ups and downs. We got to see their trauma. We got to let these actors show that they are good actors. I think most of these actors, do have a lot of talent. I don't think all of them were able to show that in 5. So hopefully in 6, especially being in the big city, you had some time since the event of 5, it would be cool. Like as soon as you said that, Fate, I was just like seeing it in my head, and it was like really cool. Like it was a Scream with some heart again. That's what we need.
I want to see each character kind of have like a different experience of like I think like I said, Chad, he's like, he's playing it cool. He's trying to be, the surrogate big brother, taking on that sort of Dewey role. But like inside, he's like, dying. Like, girls are coming up, like, come on, like, why don't you come over to my place tonight? Like that.
Right.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I got this. Like just making up excuses, but it's clear that it's like he's dealing with the survivor remorse. I think
Right.
you could have Mindy, because she's kind of like that, tough, ragged, rumbly type, like where she's the one drowning her sorrows in like a bottle. She's the one that's like, sleeping around and just being like, come on, like, come, let's go to this party. Like just trying to, out of sight, out of mind type thing. You could have Tara kind of be the Sydney-esque, where she, maybe she has a little bit of the PTSD. She has trouble trusting people. She's a little like hesitant with everybody. And then have Sam as like a character who maybe she embraced it. Maybe she loved it. She had, she kind of has that thirst for it. I don't, like I said, I don't want to see her go full dark side, but I'd like to see her, maybe like, it doesn't really phase her. It didn't really bother her. It's more like, and then even when it starts up again, she's not really concerned about herself. She's more worried like, I need to get Tara out of here. And then I'll come back and I can now, feed the beast inside me type thing. You know, I'd rather that route. And then you have each one of these characters have like a different range, a different sort of after effect on like what ended up happening, stuff like that. I think that, in my opinion, I think that that'd be the best course of action for these guys, rather than, each one is just like, they're just living their best life. It's like, I understand it's college, like,
Right.
probably one of the reasons they went to college was to get away, was to try to like put that in the rear view mirror. But still, like, especially now that we know it's like within a year, there's got to be some, lingering effects, and everybody can't just be like, oh, it's cool. And I don't want to see a replication of like, I don't want to see everyone be Sidney Prescott, where everyone's having this like PTSD, lack of trust, stuff like that. I want to see different. You have several of these characters. I want to see each one, because even in Scream 2, like Sidney, Randy, Gail, and Dewey all had different types of responses to what happened. Gail was right back into the swing of things, reporter, got calf extensions or whatever, like he said, all that stuff. Like, it's just a good old time. And then you had, Sydney, who was kind of standoffish, didn't trust people, was dealing with the aftermath of kind of being thrusted into this whirlwind of celebrity, getting phone calls, stuff like that. But she has a boyfriend. She's trying to move on, but she still kind of has her different distance, doesn't really trust them. And then, you had Dewey, who you could tell he was a little scared, but he was trying to be strong. He was trying to show up and protect everybody. Like, you had each character have a different sort of path of like how they were overcoming that. And that was a 2-year gap. This one is going to be like a year. I want to see each character have a different type of substance. Just, Jake, to fill you in real quick, because I know you stepped away for a minute. Oh, did you hear?
We're still talking about just like trauma and response.
Well, I'm saying like what
right?
I'd like to see from each character specifically. Like,
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like that's my only thing, is that like, I want.
No, I agree with you though, dude. I want to see that, maybe even with more of an emphasis on it as well, opposed to Scream 2. Because like there's a lot of like Sydney, yes, I feel like you see her really like still dealing with it. There's a lot going on with her, but it's almost like it's not even that big of a deal for some of the other characters. So I kind of hope they play into that a lot with the core 4. I mean, I don't think all of them are living through this movie, but I would like to see them struggle with that throughout the film. And it could maybe make them red herrings again too. You can kind of recycle that, be really efficient with it. Turn maybe Chad into a red herring again. Maybe he's like really not dealing with it all that well. Just one of them, someone, Mindy, Tara, Sam, whoever. Just have them like really struggling to overcome that. And then maybe you have this like thought in the back of your head, like, oh, maybe they're just going to start killing people to deal with it, or something crazy like that. That could kind of be an interesting angle too. Big thing though, I hope that they play into that a little more. That's my big thing. And they just I don't even care if it's too much. I just want to see development for these characters even more than from Scream 2022. They're going to have so much more screen time this time around, opposed to the legacy characters. Have those interesting things happen. We can do that now.
I totally
gotta
agree.
Give us something. Give us
something.
But real quick, and then we can change topics. Did you guys see the marketing for Smile?
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, like, that was so cool.
So
your
creepy.
Mic's muted.
I only saw the very first trailer for Smile. And I didn't watch anything else because I really want to watch the movie.
No, they did an entire marketing campaign at a MLB game, where they just had,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was really cool. So they had like a bunch of people wearing like neon green shirts that said Smile, and then like the camera would like pan over the crowd, like it usually does at baseball game, stuff like that. And then you just see somebody standing there like smiling, all creepy like, and then the shirt that says Smile. You had one like behind like the news broadcaster. Like I thought that was really clever. I was like, that was pretty smart. Like, I like that. That was cool.
I shared your video on that. I was like, oh, that's fucking dope. I had no idea that was even happening. Thought that was sweet.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate your support.
Did you guys see it yet? I saw it last night. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Was it?
Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a lot of fun. I recommend it. Seeing it in the theaters too, for sure. Like, yeah.
Where do you rank it amongst your movies? Is it up towards the top? Is it somewhere in the middle? Down towards the bottom?
in my top 10, it's probably in the middle. Like it wasn't my favorite of the year, but I really enjoyed it. Like it's a really good first time like feature length film from this guy. So I liked it though. It was really solid. Like it's an easy 8 out of 10, maybe even higher than that for me. So
Yeah.
I liked it.
It seems more of like at least my expectation going to see it, because I will see it, but my expectation is kind of like it's going to be more so for like entertainment. Like even just watching the trailer, it seems more of like an entertainment style, like just good old fashioned, like have some jump scares, just a weird, bizarre story, rather than like some Oscar worthy, like in depth, like malignant style.
That's what's interesting about this movie. It's something I was saying. I was like, if you're a fan of like Sinister, Insidious, Conjuring universe, you'll definitely like Smile. But if you're someone who like is like, I don't personally agree with this, but if you're someone who's like, oh man, those are jump scare reliant movies, I don't really care for those. I feel like those people will still like Smile too, because it also has these like entire scare sequences where there's no jump scares. It's just psychological terror, which I think is nice. It's this constant back and forth between like a really well set up jump scare with some nice bouts of psychological terror. It's a nice mixture of both of them. You're constantly going back and forth through the two, which is cool. You're cycling through that. But it's really well done. It's different, even though it's so familiar, and it pays homage to like every big horror movie from the past 15 years. I kind of talked about that too. It's like think of a really popular scare sequence from anything from the past 15 years. Smile kind of does its own take on that too, which it's interesting. It's not ripping anything off. It's paying homage though, I think.
Nice. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And yeah, Jordy, sorry to hear that. But
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear it, Jordy.
Yeah. So I like what he was saying about how like they should show that. I agree. You got to. I mean, got to show that profound impact, because it's just like Scream is based on realism. You know, like Scream is like that's what makes Scream so great. And like you want to see real implications. You want to see,
right.
You know, you want to see different people have different responses and experiences after a traumatic event like that. You know, so I'd be disappointed if it was something that's just like, or like they don't even really touch on it. They just kind of like move on, and everyone's just kind of where they're at, stuff like that. Especially so shortly removed from the events. You know, if this was like 4 years later or something like that, then I could see like, okay, that makes a little more sense. They've had time to kind of get over the trauma,
Right.
but it sounds like they're just getting to college. Like they haven't been there very long type stuff, because they were still going to high school during those events. So
Yeah. That's kind of my big thing with like Halloween Ends. I didn't mean to cut you off, Craven. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna add on and say, you just never know what you're gonna get though, because these writers are trying to balance between being a drama and being a horror film. And so I think that's why a lot of times horror movies suffer in this area, because if they get too much into the weed wheel of characters, they start to, it almost starts to turn into something else, or they may think it will be. And so it almost seems like they sacrifice. I'm not really talking about a Scream here. I'm talking about in general when you watch a horror movie. A lot of times they sacrifice those real moments because they don't want the tension to get too slow. They don't want the adrenaline rush to slow down too much. They want to keep the thing amped and keep it moving towards the horror. And so there's some out there, I'm sure. I mean, I know if I already thought about it, I could name some, but a lot of times, especially with slashers, they seem to be so one-dimensional when you watch a slasher movie in general. It's kind of just like, okay, here's a group of people, pretty cookie cutter. There's the jock, there's this, there. You know what I'm saying? There's this person, there's the ex-boyfriend, and then here's the killer, and it becomes more about the kills than the characters, and that's why Scream always broke the mold, because Wes and Kevin did make it about the characters in addition to the kills, and that was a really amazing balance that it's very hard. I mean, we don't see it reached very often in this in horror.
Well
and it's
said.
like you compare that to something like Friday the 13th, and it's like these characters are just like, they're like you said, they're just a little more one dimensional. Not every Friday's like that. I mean, that's not the case every single time, but most of the time it's kind of just like these are just meat bags to be killed by Jason, and it's great. Like I'm not complaining about that at all.
Yeah,
but I like
right.
that Scream. That was a big addition. It was a big, really different that they would go all in on the characters, keep so many characters alive throughout like almost the entire series. Rest in peace, Dewey. But
Yes.
I've always respected that franchise for doing that. It's one of the only big slasher franchises that does that.
True.
Yeah, very true. And I mean, and then you get some stuff like Halloween Kills, So.
Stop.
But
Oh no, we've come so
No.
close.
We almost made it.
We almost made a
almost
whole
did.
episode without it coming up.
Almost.
hey,
Al-
talk about characters.
So close.
Gotta bring that up. But anyway,
There it is.
you mother. That's great. I love that you have that now. It makes me happy. But
That was so backhanded.
it does. No, that was real. I swear.
It's
It was real.
Not all compliments have to be enthusiastic. Some compliments are just normal compliments. Like, hey, it's like nice.
not all compliments
Oh,
need
man.
to be
done did
enthusiastic.
good. You done did good.
You done did it.
Wow.
But sticking on path with Scream, like what are I know we touched on marketing and stuff like that, but like what kind of things you want to look for from the marketing? Like what things, like obviously we don't want them to spoil stuff, right? Like last time, like just keep that. So I mean,
Right.
obviously that could be one, but like just in general, like do you want to see like, because like Halloween Ends, like even the full length trailer, which we could also talk about too, because we haven't talked about it on the collective.
That's
That
true.
could be
We
something
need
we
to-
jump into too. So we
Yeah.
can, we can answer this real quick and then close out with the Halloween thing. But like the Halloween Ends, like the trailers, even the full length trailer, I thought did a really good job of not like spoiling too much. There's a couple things that maybe kind of make you go, huh. I think for the most part, they've done a good job with that. But they've like shown the characters that they want you to highlight. Do you guys want something where it's just like, like just quick, like cuts of the characters, maybe like, in compromised situations, just quick, brief, not showing anything? Do you want just like, maybe almost like a character reel almost? Do you want like something where it's like in the flow where you're actually getting moments of the film, but it's not spoilers? What would you look for as far as like, because we're going to get 30 little trailers again. I mean, even Halloween Ends did that,
It's
so I
doing
think
it
that's
too.
just kind of the mold now. So what do you guys want? Just in general, it could be whatever in
Well,
general. For
I think-
those things.
Well, I think it'd be nice to see some character bits, just to get a sense of these characters. I think again, for the general audience, they're just kind of come into this, but I think for the legacy fans, like I said, I think we need to get connected to these characters, and I think if they can show us some bits where we get a sense, whether it's how they're dealing with the after effects of Scream 5, or maybe what they're doing now, maybe showing some interactions between two of them or three of them, things like that, just to make us really latch on to them as characters. Excuse me. I think that would be really, really cool, and it would be good for marketing, but also, like I said, for us to get to know these characters more deeply, because we just didn't get enough of that in 5. I think that would be the best thing that they could do.
Start teasing some of the red herrings too. Like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like start teasing some of those like misdirects where it's like you get a weird line from somebody. That could be kind of cool. My rule of thumb, and I'll be honest with you, we've been preaching that, don't show anything from the third act. Just don't do it. And we have the trailer pretty much done for Red Right-Handed. It is so tough not to show something from the third act. Like I sympathize with the marketing department a little more, because I'm like, I really want to show that, but I shouldn't. I get it. I get why they do that. But at the same time, I really just don't want the reveal spoiled. Like if you analyze that first trailer, you could figure out who the killers were from the last movie. And I just hope that's not the case this time around. And it's not like pretty kind of obvious. You know what I mean? I want to be surprised. That's my only diss towards the Scream 5 marketing. I mean, I thought everything else was perfect. I thought it
Yeah.
was so outrageous. It was so like you couldn't miss it. You couldn't miss the Scream 5 marketing. They were doing all this crazy shit. It was awesome. I'm sure they have something like that planned as well. I just hope they don't overmarket it like how maybe the trailers borderline did.
Yeah, my biggest problem with the 5 marketing is the same as yours, Jake. It was the trailer itself, really. It just, and I didn't know it at the time. None of us did because we were all believing radio silence, and so I learned a lesson in all of that. See you, Carrie. Take
Hi,
care.
Carrie.
Glad you were here. We accepted Radio Chad Valilla at his word when he said, and I never read it, it's burned in my mind. He said this trailer is filled with misdirection. It's very, very deceiving. That's what he said in an interview. Direct quote from Radio Silence, Chad Valilla. Well, guys, so when we watched that trailer, we talked about it here. We're like, oh, I bet you half of this won't be in the movie. This is probably, this scene here, we don't even know if that's going to be part of the actual film. They filmed 3 different endings. All this talk we had, all those shows. Well, guess what? We got what we saw in the trailer. There was no misdirection. Every scene from that trailer, with the exception of the silhouette on the wall, every other scene was in the movie. So basically now, I don't trust anything I hear from Radio Silence. They're gonna have to prove it to me because I fool me once, shame on you, right? Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not falling for it anymore. So when Tyler Gillette says we're willing to risk it all to subvert fan expectations, well, okay, I would have believed you a year ago, but you got to prove it now. So when it comes to the marketing, it's the same thing. I know they're not making the trailers. I get that. It's the marketing team. So I'm not putting it all on their feet. But Chad has to own his statement, though, when he said it's deceptive. It wasn't deceptive. He didn't make the trailer, but he watched it and then commented on it. So he should own that. But in the meantime, I don't want to see the killers revealed in the trailer. I don't want to see Amber on fire again. I don't want to see Richie being stabbed by Sam with his hairline at the bottom of the screen that you could have cropped out. The 4 of us could crop it out on our right now. And that's the stuff I will. If that kind of stuff is in this trailer, man, I'm going to pull my hair out. I want to see the old Scream style trailers back in Scream 1 and Scream 2, where it's building up the mystery. Where you're, like you said, Jake, the red herrings. You're seeing multiple suspects on the screen, flashing them up, and there's people dying, and you hear screaming. It just builds the suspense up. That's what I want to see. I'm not optimistic we're going to get that, honestly, especially after the Halloween Ends stuff that's revealed, pretty much mapped out. But now there's still some surprises, I think, but they've shown, and so I'm just convinced, guys, that's how it's going to be. And so I expect we probably will get revealed way, way too much in Scream 6 trailer. But if you ask me the question of what do I want, that's what I want. I don't want to see any of that. Otherwise, I'm pretty much wide open. Tear it up. Do your Sarah Brash or Brash Sarah or Too Brash. Do all that stuff again. I'm fine with all that. Load up this, all the, the posters, 25, 30 posters. All that stuff was fun. It's just the trailers where they dropped the ball, in my opinion, last year. So if they can do it better this year, I'll be happy. Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
Okay.
So let's, what did you guys think of the Halloween Ends trailer? Knight, you want to start? And then we'll go in a circle. What did you think from it?
Yeah. To start winding down on this, I thought it was great. I think that there was maybe 2 things that they probably didn't need to have in there. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, especially one particular thing. It gives you a little bit of a timetable, so to speak. But other than that, it was kind of like this mishmash of a lot of the spots and a couple other things. But I thought it was good. I absolutely loved the music. Steve and I, we were talking about that the other night.
Yep.
The music was great. I love how they had the riff on Carpenter's, theme. So it's nice to see more Allison. It was great to see Lindsay, you know, there on screen and so forth. So I really liked it. It definitely got me hyped up, and yeah, I think the thing about Halloween Ends, man, is just that there's just so much hype and excitement, on both sides of the fence. You know what I mean? So this is an event. This is going to be such an event. So I just can't wait to see how it's all going to play out. But in short, I enjoyed the trailer. How about you guys?
Yeah, I enjoyed the trailer. I thought it hell yeah, dude. I enjoyed the trailer. I think they maybe put too many too many of the kills in there. That was one of my big things. I wish they would have. I don't know. I like the pool thing was too much. The pain. We actually saw how the woman with the red hair. We kind of see how that happens. It's a nice homage. I really did like the fact that they put all of the sequences that are parallels to the original in there. I thought that was cool. That's fine.
Like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Honestly, better than I was expecting for the final trailer. I really thought it was going to be kills all over again, where just every big surprise was spoiled to us, and I don't even feel that even with everything that they've shown us. I feel like there's still more that hasn't been revealed. So that's exciting to me. For that reason, I'm happy that this movie's being marketed the way it is, which I can't believe I'm saying that. I do think some of the TV spots maybe gave away a little too much about old Corey Myers, but for that, Besides that, I'm like, okay, I think this is gonna be cool. I think I'm gonna like this movie. I think it's me personally. I'm speculating it's gonna be a little better than Kills. That's what I'm thinking.
All right,
cool. So I think that they could have shown a lot more than they did. So I'm happy about that. They do show us, by my count rather, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4, no less than 4 kills. We get revealed in the trailer. So we already know 4 kills that are going to happen, at least, maybe 5, but 4 for sure. The biggest thing, and I did a video on this, but I put it out this morning, talking about Michael's accomplice. And the biggest thing is if you look at all the TV spots with the trailers, the behind-the-scenes featurettes, and the B-roll that was released, and the interviews. You got to look at the whole thing, and you got to wade through all of that stuff. But I did it, and if you do it, you're going to learn something, guys. We're going to find out that David Gordon Green has been telling us openly what this movie is going to be for a while.
Yeah,
and we have been going around like thinking, who is it going to be? Is it going to be a misdirection? Is it going to be this? And I came to the conclusion yesterday to just take the man at his word. He's actually telling us what's going to happen, who Corey is. He's not even trying to hide it. So it really becomes a matter of not a mystery. It's going to come down to just the execution and seeing it unfold. So, Corey clearly, he has literally told us that that he is Michael's unlikely colleague, and their energies feed off each other. He's told us this. I've got his audio speaking in an interview on the clip, and he's saying that basically he awakens in Michael what he once had, and Michael doesn't kill him. He literally goes. So basically, it is Christine. Remember when he told us months ago? He said, there's this heavily influenced by Christine, and I was so concerned that I went and gave the script to John Carpenter and said, is it too close? Is it too much? Because he thought he was plagiarizing the movie. Well, and Chris already gets overtaken slowly by the spirit of the car. And I'm telling you, I just got to the point where I want to stop trying to think he's tricking us. I'm going to take David at face value. I think that's what's happening, guys. Corey will be. There's a connection in that trailer, and if you watch the Brazilian or the Spain TV spot, there's a shot where they are locking eyes, and they remember that shot like Scream when the ghost face is on the eyeball. Yeah, you see Michael Myers, and they're locking eyes, dude. And I believe that's the transference from Michael into Corey. And I believe as this movie progresses to the 1 hour mark, the 1 hour and 50, it slowly turns Corey full blown copycat Myers killer. It takes over Corey until I know I'm ranting, I'm almost done, until Laurie kills Corey in the kitchen, mask off, and then Michael comes back and retrieves that mask in the trailer, picking it up. It's his hand. It's old.
It's an old hand, man. That is not a 20-year-old hand.
It is not. Yeah.
Unless they're trolling us like Thanos.
Anything's possible. I just don't think it's likely. I think Myers picks his mask up, and then the third act is going to be what we all want: Laurie killing Michael. But guys, anyway, I'll just leave it at that and say, I believe that there's still some things we don't know, and we'll see. But I believe we pretty much know if we just listen to what he's been telling us. Yeah. It's all he's laid it out.
No, I agree with you. I think we know exactly how this movie's going to go for the most part. It's just it's going to come down to the execution of the movie now. I did like the trailer. I thought it did a good job. It did give. I do think between all the TV spots and the trailer, you basically get all of the kills except for the main characters. Like outside of like Lindsay and Allison and Laurie and Hawkins and people like that. I think you got all like the little just kills for the sake of kills in this movie, which could have done without. But you take a little, you give a little, I guess. But nonetheless, I do. I think I agree. I think that this is going to be, but this is my problem. It's like they've sat here and said repeatedly that Michael is just a man. He's nothing else. This, that, and the other. And it's like, clearly he's not. Clearly he's more than a man. Now his like essence is transferring to other people. Like what man have you ever met that could do that?
Tim Curry. Knight is one, yeah.
Man, he's a powerful man. It takes you over.
His essence could never transfer in us because we'd never be able to be Knight. Never. As much as we all aspire to be.
Oh, this is true.
I got sucked into his aura when I met him at Monster Mania. It was insane. It was awesome.
I thought that was me getting sucked into your aura.
Oh, wow.
You guys are just sucking each other up. Huh?
Basically. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's too
bad. This is coming from the guy that likes cocks.
Hey. Sometimes you need to be cocking. All right.
Sometimes you just need a McCocken, you know?
Come on, man. You can't get me laughing. I'm going to start coughing up a storm, man. Come on.
You can hire Rory McCocken.
All right.
Hey! He said the thing.
That's what he... I mean, hey.
But no, I do. I like that's my big thing that like kind of is irking me. It's like you spent an entire year telling us that Michael is just a man and this is gonna just have a conclusive ending. It's him as just a man, and it's like everything pointing about this movie just shows that he's not. Everything in Kills shows that he's not. I mean, we even had a whole like conversation about that. How we were talking about how like the whole like it seems like they're going in another direction. Like I don't know. I just feel like they're a little all over the place with this.
All right, well, hold up, Jake. Are you buying it, Jake, or what are you thinking?
I really think I don't know. To me, I feel like there's some things that happen in Kills where it's like he's clearly more than a man. I mean, he takes like so many bullets and all that. I don't think they're ever going to explain it. And I think the reason that they've been saying that to us is because it's like that's their interpretation of it. You know, like Laurie thinks he's the shape of evil and all this. He's more than a man and all that. But then people around her are constantly telling her like, no, he was just this crazy guy, this awful thing that happened. Like, just you got to move past it and all that. But to me, that's how that comes off. The thing that I don't like is the fact that it's like, you guys are probably right. He's probably transferring his evil into Corey Cunningham. Yeah. I mean, Michael Myers, MM initials, Corey Cunningham, CC, the double initials all over again. Corey rhymes with Laurie, for Christ's sake. It couldn't be more on the nose, I don't think. I don't know. I don't like that angle to it. I like the whole idea that there's this mystique built around his character where it's like you're not 100% sure if that's an angle to it, if he really is supernatural or not. I mean, I guess, the proof is there. He took a million fucking gunshots in the in the last movie. But I would rather just go unexplained. I would rather it not see the full potential of his character, just to keep that mystery surrounding him.
But what if it's just a question of just Corey just has that within him, and he's face to face with, the captain of the ship, so to speak, and it's almost like it's that moment where, it's like when someone is starstruck, and they're like, wow, okay, this is the way. This has given me the golden ticket to do what, of course this isn't a conscious thought, but it's something within him that just kind of happens, and not necessarily like chi energy that goes from Michael into Corey. I mean, and it could be like that. But
It could be.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't see it go down that way. It could though. It definitely could. But
now, are you? Are you okay with that though, Nate? That's my question.
If it is
like, are you just the whole idea of like, oh, Corey sees Michael Myers, he has a near death experience, essentially gets away, and now he's inspired to kill. Is that something you're looking for? I guess in ends. That's the big question to me.
Well, from the beginning, I've said, this is going to be one of the trickiest aspects of this movie to pull off. This has to be executed. Put it this way, man. After I see this movie, if I enjoy this part of the story, then they hit a home run. Because
I agree.
To me, this is so tricky. And me and Steven were talking about this the other night on both of our channels. They are definitely taking a huge risk with this.
Yes.
I appreciate it because, again, this movie could have just been, okay, it's sometime after kills. Laurie is still upset that Karen's dead. Michael is back. He kills some people. Laurie wants to kill Michael. She kills him or he kills her. Boom. End of the movie. Yada, yada, yada. They could have done that. But instead, they're adding in this huge wrinkle of this dude. And to me, if it works, then it could be not only a great way to end the trilogy, but it could be one of the most unique movies in the franchise. But it's a tricky angle. And the way they pull this thing off, as far as him being, I always use the word obsessed with Michael. So the way they pull off him being the copycat, the reason he does it, and how that all works, I'm going to be very interested to see how it happens. There was at one point I was thinking, he's accused of the murder. He's belittled. He's berated by people. He's alone. He has no one. Kind of like Arnie was in Christine. He's an outcast, so forth and so forth. And Michael is almost like an inspiration. He almost uses that to like empower himself to get that respect again. That was the angle that I kind of was seeing it for a while. I don't know anymore if that's the angle. But what I don't want to see the supernatural aspect of it, like where it's kind of like, I feel the power. Oh God,
he spits a bunch of like black goo into Corey's mouth. And
I don't want to see that, but that might be what it is. It truly could. We've seen crazier things in this franchise, but like I said, if they can do it in a way that's not supernatural and it makes sense, like I said, in this whole Corey character, I mean, there could be some really good stuff going on with him as far as scenes. Like I said, he's accused of the murder. I mean, this dude could be like so much of an outcast. His family.
He's dating Allison. Don't forget.
Well, yes, and how does that happen? When does it happen? And the circumstances.
Well, especially
of all
with
of
him
that.
killing. Like the whole thing is like he kills the kid and the babysitter. He's accused of it, and then it sounds like he goes, does some jail time, comes back, and then what? Allison is just like, fuck it, he's cute.
He is cute.
He is.
I
She's
mean,
like,
there is that. No,
it's those glasses.
Or maybe she's, maybe she sees him as a bad boy type, and she's at a place in her life where she's a little self-destructive, and she's leaning towards being around people that are not healthy to be around, and that's what
that are edgy.
They're edgy. They're drawing on that darker side of inside of her. So that could be a situation too.
I
really think
that,
or maybe they don't, or maybe they won't know that about him. Maybe he's able to hide that from them. And
I was gonna say, I
maybe
think he
they
blames Michael for the death. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
yes, yes, yeah, that could happen. Go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, I'm like the kid dies, and I don't know if this is clear or not, but to me it sounds like that might have taken place on 2018 Halloween, and like maybe it's like, oh, someone, he calls the police and he's like, oh, Michael Myers was here, and it was him on accident or something. Like I feel like it was maybe like an accident, and it inspires the bloodlust in him a little bit, and he's kind of pushing that down for 4 years, but then he sees Michael, and it just it sparks that up again. That's almost how I'm envisioning it. I don't know, maybe I could be totally wrong. I haven't seen it yet, but
Well, I was gonna say too. What if how do we know Corey isn't going after Allison because of his obsession with Michael? Maybe he's already
That's
obsessed,
possible
and he
too.
wants to,
Yeah.
and he
Yep.
like, what better way to get close than to be, next to
Yeah,
the granddaughter of the final girl, I guess,
right.
Like,
yeah.
Yep.
like
I
I mean,
thought of
that's
that
something else.
too.
Well, that also opens up a natural way for Michael to get back and to remember, like 18, Sartain takes
Right.
Michael there. Well, it's the same scenario where Corey could bring Michael back into the sights of Lori again.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that, he's the instrument that gets that done. Because
Yeah.
and the thing about it too, when you heard David Green say that Myers is left the town, he's been out of the headlines for 4 years. He's in bad shape. He's dormant. He basically is. He said it's like an animal that goes off to die. That's what he's done. And then Corey comes in and he calls him an unlikely colleague. Colleague, guys. I've never heard Michael Myers with a colleague. This is so wild. But that's what he says. And I think it's a situation where Myers, he's old, he's in terrible shape, and he knows he's going to die soon. Like, he knows he's weak, he's not as strong. And so whatever it is, and I'm going to backtrack, and whatever that power that's left in him is where he gets it into Corey. It's that transference, because he knows he's on his last leg. And I think that final battle in the kitchen or the junkyard will be his last battle with Lori. But that's how Lori can win this time, because he's not full strength. He's a weakened Michael Myers.
But he's more dangerous than ever.
Yeah. So
Right.
like, there's two quick things I want to get your opinions on real quick that was said in the trailer. One, it looks like Michael all of a sudden is after Lori, right? Because Lori says like several times in that, like, oh, like, you came here to kill me. He's stalking me, this, that, and the other. Like, so it's like, one, it's like, how does that change? Like, the whole point of the last two movies is that, what were you saying?
Well, I was just gonna say one thing that we talked about the other night. What if Lori has a lot of delusions? Like that scene they showed in the trailer where Michael,
You think a
quote
whole
unquote,
fight
Michael.
scene is?
No. I mean, like that scene where Michael was by the tree
Yeah.
and she was outside
That
in
I
her
can
car and
understand.
she
Yes.
looked
Yes.
and then he wasn't there. What if we have a couple of scenes like that where she, when she looks out the window, kind of like she did in 78 down at the street? What if there's a lot of that
H2O.
going on? Because what if there's a couple scenes of that going on? Because we did see that scene where Allison said, you act like you're okay, but you're not. You're obsessed with death. So what
Yeah.
if Lori, she is trying to let go, and to some degree she does let go. We saw that scene with her and Hawkins in the store, and they're going shopping and stuff like that. But what if there are times when she gets that sense that he's there, and it's a vision or a delusion or whatever, and sometimes we as the viewer, we don't know, like, is she really seeing him or the copycat, or is that in her head? You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's quite possible, or at least I think it would be interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I definitely think that would be pretty cool if she starts to kind of see shadows.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility, but it's definitely something that I just think is odd. Like, you just spent two movies basically telling us that Michael wants nothing to do with Lori. He could care less about Lori. Lori's the one with the obsession. And now, like, every trailer, you have like 3 or 4 moments where it's like, Michael's here to get me. Like, it's like, why does Michael want her? And then the other thing I want to bring
I think
up
they're
was
doing that for the fans, though.
I mean, yeah, but it's got to be part. It's got to have some. Again, it's still got to be a part in the movie. Like, so
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
obviously,
going
maybe they
back
explain-
to all the mask stuff though. That's it. Like, if you go back and watch all those movies, the only time you see Michael motivated to do something is when someone has his mask. That's it.
Bingo.
And Corey's gonna somehow get his mask. I'm assuming it's going to be after that encounter in the sewer. Like maybe he rips it off or something, and it freaks Michael out or something. He's like, "Not my face!" Like he's Rorschach in Watchmen.
Rorschach.
But hey. So maybe he takes it or something. He runs after it. Somehow Michael knows where the mask is. He just knows, of course, because it's Michael fucking Myers. I can see taking issue with that, but I do feel like it's always going to be because he's going after the mask. Maybe the mask somehow ends up at Laurie Strode's house, and that's what that whole sequence is at the end. That to me is what I'm thinking. That's how it makes sense. I can, and once again, I can see taking an issue with that. If you're like, okay, well, that's borderline supernatural, Jake. That's as close as you can get to that line without actually crossing it. And I'm like, yeah, but they've kind of already done that in this trilogy. So that's why it works. That's why I'm like, okay, I can see that working.
Yeah.
Also,
I want to add
Like an
something
animal
Fate.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, sometimes animals have that heightened sense. He's
Sense,
definitely been described as an animal. So
Halloween too.
Just
I
saying.
mean, that's a great point. Yeah.
True. I was just going to add real quick on top of this. The mask is that's what I was going to say, Jake. The mask, you nailed it, I believe, because that shot that they put in the trailer where you see the mask on the table or the floor and the bloody knife next to it and James Jude Courtney's hand. His old, dirty, nasty-looking right hand picks that mask up. That's in Laurie's house. So I think the mask is what ultimately gets him there. But let's also remember those scenes where Laurie's looking at the camera and saying, "You came here to kill me, let's do it," or whatever those things are. Yeah. We don't know who she's talking to. She could be talking to Corey in costume.
Yeah.
Not even realizing it's Michael.
That's not Michael.
Because it never shows who she's talking to. We just see her front shot of her. Yeah. So I think that's a lot of that is Corey she's talking to.
And why is it such a poignant shot in the trailer when she takes the mask off? Like right at the end. Like that's leading into a Corey reveal or something.
Absolutely.
At some point.
I was thinking, what if that is Michael and she has a moment where she kills Corey and maybe she doesn't even know that he's the copycat, or whatever, or something like that. And she just wants to check. And it's kind of a nod to like H2O and Resurrection, where, she killed somebody believing it was Michael. It wasn't.
Yeah. I think that's why she has that shocked look on her face.
Yes.
Could be something.
Because she
wouldn't have a stun, or at least I don't think she'd have that type of shocked or stunned look on her face if she killed Michael, aka James Jude Courtney. That would be more of like, okay, finally it's over, I did it, or whatever.
Relief.
She looks shocked, like, oh crap, this the kid is the one, So that's how I'm getting it. Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to real quick, and then we can wrap it up is the whole Allison, like why do you guys think Allison doesn't believe her? I mean, Allison thought her No, like, so Laurie's saying that Michael's alive and she's seeing him and stuff like that. And then you see the scene where Allison's like you walk around trying to pretend like you're better, but you're still, you're obsessed with the dead. Like, wouldn't Allison, out of everybody, believe her? Because for 40 years, her mom and her thought grandma's crazy. She's a kook. And guess what? Michael came back. So, like, wouldn't Allison, out of everybody, like, I can understand maybe Lindsay's like trying to, maybe just that doubt, stuff like that. But wouldn't Allison, out of everybody, be like, okay, like, are you sure? Like, do you mean like, something like that? She just seems to like immediately just like, and maybe that's part of like, she just doesn't want to believe it. Her mom's dead, boyfriend,
plus
all that
context.
Stuff.
Plus context of the scenes.
But it's just, I don't know. I just like, if that's actually something, like, wouldn't you think
so? Okay, Fate, I kind of agree with you, but I will say my one thing about that is if Laurie has sought help, because that's been set up already in Halloween 2018 and Kills. That's like, oh, you need to go to therapy, mom, and all that. We got that line from Karen. I really do think that she's getting help, and that's why Laurie Strode is slowly getting over it. That's the difference between the 4-year gap where she can get over it and the 41 where she didn't, because she never sought help. That's what I'm assuming is going to be the explanation. If there's no explanation, I'm going to have a problem. But if they do that, I could see maybe a conversation happening with, let's say, a therapist character. Maybe we never even see who this is. Just simply saying something like, you have to treat all the visions of the boogeyman like it's not real. You know, you have to like get past that. And the family members who the only one still alive right now is Allison, maybe is taking that really seriously for Laurie's mental health. I could see that, like something like that being the case. Craven, you kind of do this stuff. Like, am I onto something here? Maybe? No,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, I absolutely do. Yeah, I'm familiar with a lot of this kind of stuff in terms of helping people. And, you know, the biggest thing is having to understand what is real and what's not real and not blur in the lines, because you can't allow yourself to indulge in fantasy and let yourself slip back into those old ways, because then that's when your own reality becomes paranoia and hysteria sets in. So the big thing about it is, and also I'm glad you brought this up, because there's a scene in the B-roll. If you've seen the B-roll where they're filming, there's what's her name, Laurie Strode. She's walking down a hall and looks like her house, and she's talking to someone. She says, "I know a real good therapist. I want to give you his phone number." I'm like, okay, so she's right there. We got confirmation that she is seeing someone. So that's good. So I think, Jake, you're onto something with that, man. I think that it could very well be where, things have been getting better. But here's the thing, Michael or the copycat or both, seems like Corey's going to do most of the heavy lifting. I don't think Michael Myers is going to kill much of anybody. I think most of his killings are going to be Corey in costume. And, we'll see. But I think Michael just comes back to get his mask. And then that's when they get the third act. But anyway, that's beside the point. I think that when Laurie does start seeing Michael or Corey, she is starting to then question her own sanity again. Like, wait a second, is this real? Is it not real? But she's going to always err to the side of real because of her history, right? Look at, everything else. So to answer your question, Jake, yes, I think that you're onto something with the therapy side, and that's why Allison sees how she's talking the right thing. She's saying the right things, but she's seeing past that and to seeing that in reality, Laurie is still struggling with the same 2018. And worse, because Michael did come back. And until they have a body, there's no corpse, then he's got to be out there. That's probably what she's thinking.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
That's fair.
Anyway.
That's fair.
All right, guys.
Cool.
We're going to get ready to end this thing up because I'm about to die.
Dude, bro. Seriously.
Man,
I know.
I'm sorry, Knight.
That's all right.
I know. Me too, man.
All right. So for you guys in the live chat, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. But definitely, if you can, give the video a like. It would help to support us as we are trying to find our way to 1K. Right now, I think we're still at 901. But anyways, leave us a comment as well. And that'd be really, really cool. So we will catch you guys later. Peace.
Bye, guys.